All right, everyone. We're here for a nice, hopefully tame well, it's not even a let's play. That was earlier today. Stream of Spire. So let's get it started. So, standard today. Last time I did it, I did the silence. So let's do something a little bit different, a little bit saucy, a little bit spicy. I'm not really good at the defect. I'm gonna stay with the silent, as the thumbnail would dictate. Nothing wrong with that now, is there? So, without further ado, let's see. Hello, strange whale with mystical powers. How can I best serve you today? Or you best serve me? Um, let's just obtain a random boss relic. I got a tiny house. I got extra gold, a potion, and hopefully something useful in my deck. Tonight I want to try and go for whatever floats my boat. Whatever is floating the boat. So, bear with me if I'm a little distracted. Alright. Which way? Left is right and right is right and everything is okay. I'm gonna go this way. I'm feeling adventurous. It's been a long day at work. Let's do something slightly different. Right? I'm just gonna increase that little volume for the game right there so that it's a little bit easier. Sorry if there's any background noise. It's a little late. I haven't that long been since getting home. So let's just whoop. I should have defended, but it's okay. You're gonna do the best way to make sure that this is going exactly how I would like it. So, long day at work, always. Might have said something strange that I regretted in the long run. What card am I discarding? Hold up. I don't want to discard any of these. Well, I guess I'm gonna discard that one. Yeah, like I said something really crazy at work, and I'm gonna probably regret. I don't know. It's always strange, right? So, again, multitasking here. On my phone, doing this, drowsy, doing this for as long as I can climb the spire. Hopefully we can make some decent progress. And nothing too terribly strange happens. Yeah, said something really off color. Like, we were trying to move something, and it didn't fit. So I am just like, yo, what else can I do to get this thing to Supervisor's like, yo, you can't get that through the door. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna make it fit. And then that was the wrong thing to say in general at the wrong time. I'm just saying. So, yeah. Don't know. Something strange. I don't know. Dagger spray. 4 damage to all enemies twice. That's 8 damage to all enemies. Bouncing flask is okay, seeming as I already have a poison, but again, this time I'm not drunk and I have a clear mind. I'm not paying 2 for randomization, so let's get that one. The rule for this run is if I get a card, I have to pick it up. 12 cards, I gotta match them. Let's see. These little traffic cone thing is what we gonna do. I hated this game as a kid, I really want that well-laid plans. Oh man. Dude, I'm not mixing. Oh, got well-laid plans. I got it. Success. Okay. Now we're gonna make some progress. This is a better run than when you're not intoxicated out your minds. That's the best part. When you're not intoxicated out your minds. Well-laid plans, automatic. Not even gonna question it. Defend. Dagger spray, get that 8 damage. All easy, end my turn. So I'm not doing it for my PS5 because, my kids are using it and sitting with my spouse, so I can only do so much. and I still want to make sure that I'm okay for the views, and I can also do it and still be a functioning member of society. So I'm just gonna pause this real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I am back now. Sorry for that, guys. I had to go grab another headset and also check on children. You know, the usual. All right, we're gonna finish demolishing this guy. But yeah, I said something real strange, and then I ended up taking my lunch break all by myself. So all is well. Like I said, rule for this run is if I get choose a card option, I have to choose a card, no matter how crappy. So, shoot, this one's hard. I'd say acrobatics. That's all I can do. That's all I can do is I'll just do acrobatics. Okay, proceed. Um, okay. Um, well, can't go anywhere else. Let's see what this question mark has in store for us today. Hmm. Weighing my options. Weighing my options. This is kind of hard. This is really hard. Shoot. At least it's not an 8, so I want monies. I want money. I want money. So that's what I'm gonna do. So that's all we're gonna do. So let's see. We're gonna leave. Uh, let's well, we just got a whole bunch of money. Might as well spend it, right? Um. Oh boy. I always look at relics first and potions to see whether or not it's worth it. Of course, I could also remove a card and it wouldn't hurt me. Start each elite combat with 2 strength. The next 2 non-boss chests you open contain 2 relics. And whenever you would receive 5 or less unblocked damage, I can reduce it to 1. Hmm. This is really hard. Tori Matushka. I think I said it right. Otherwise, I probably offended someone. The amount of shits I give? None. I don't have shivs. Blur is nice. Burst is nice. I think non-boss chests. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Tori. It might be worth it. Hopefully it was. Alright. Proceeding. Let's see. I don't know. We'll see. I just clicked out of my stuff. Okay. Non-boss chest. Let's go get a boss. And be a boss. Doing the bossy things of the bossy variety. Alright. One thing I don't like about this one in particular is that, none of it... I don't know. I'm gonna increase the game capture volume a little bit so that we can hear it, because I barely can hear it, but... Shoot. I don't know. There we go. It's just a little bit better balanced. This one I hate with a passion. Like, I'm just cycling through cards at this point. Screw it. And I forgot I can deal 20 damage. I want to save that though for like when we get to the end. Fucking doubt. Deal 9 strike. We just severely pissed off the octopus looking motherfucker. So now we have to basically hope for the best. Yay! Well played plans. Done deal. Neutralize might be help. Poison. Draw 3 cards, discard them. It's not worth it right now, so I'll just defend. And we'll just retain. That's the best part. Again, all is fair in love and war, you know. I don't know. Okay. 18. Defend. Could do 8 damage. I'm gonna do acrobatics. And we're gonna get rid of that, of course. Striking. And nothing terrible here. Awesome. Now I also have nothing really. No! Oh no, I wasn't paying attention. It's terrible. That is terrible. Poison stab, let's stack it. That's the best we can do is neutralize any damage he does and try and take him out and go for the best while we cycle cards. That's my best advice. But I really wanted to do this on the PS5 to start gaining some trophies, but the downside is I suck at every other kind of build for Slay the Spire other than the Silent. Awfully strange, I know. We're gonna get rid of doubt again. Next time I go to card removal, unless there's something really extravagant I want. And it literally was a waste. Block we're gonna keep, because you never know. You can always use an extra block, okay? Okay, Poggy. Neutralize this sucker. Neutralize this sucker. Dagger spray? Can you actually imagine with, like, daggers? Or, like, spray. Like a spray bottle. That would be sick. That'd be one sick-ass ninja. And the congestion, it never ends. I didn't retain anything, which was bad. Terribly bad. Did I just poison it and not pay attention? No. I kind of want to use the fire potion, but then I don't. So, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to retain defend, because why not? Fuck it. My playthrough, right? But like I was saying, I regrettably so have said some terrible things today. That were not proper, and like, I knew the chair wasn't going to fit through that door frame. I knew it wasn't, and I didn't care, and I got frustrated, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna make it fit, and my coworkers let me have it, rightfully so. I deserved it, because I kind of set myself up for that one, and they did not let it go. Like, every repeated burn was of that, literally, and nothing else. And it's fine, we all do it in great jest. Uh-oh, it's gonna upgrade, love it. Jeez. I like the calculated gamble because I can then randomly, like, decide whatever. It's great for cycling, but yeah. They roasted me to hell. I'm gonna rest. Okay, I'm proceeding. Hopefully, we get something nice out of the chest to make it worth me spending 300 gold to just end up getting a curse to not do anything. I think it was better when I actually was drunk and did this the last time. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use that dagger spray that I was so adamant about. And we'll just defend. And acrobatics, we'll just get rid of doubt. Neutralize this sucker. And do a calculated gamble. And I just cycle through cards. I'm a genius. Wait. Am I though? Sort of. But yeah, in all jest, I love what I do. I love kids, and you know, being essentials open your eyes to stuff that you would normally not. I just took back flick and I don't know why I did. I'm just getting distracted with a lot of stuff here. So, blood vial, I'll heal. Perfect. This might be a better run than the last one. Heal it up a little bit, mix it up, stir it in a pocket. Pocket? No, not stir it in a pocket. Stir it in a pot and kiss it and hope for the best and wave to the sky. We're going for it. We're defending, because that's gonna hurt. Strikey, 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 strikey. And that wasn't gonna work. I don't need to gain strength. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Like well-laid plans. I'm like the one I laid out earlier. But no, like, has anyone else, like, had something that they regrettably said and got roasted unmercifully for? I'm pretty sure anyone can relate to that. Defend. Keep survivor. You know, let me know in the chat if it's something you've went through. Like, where you just weren't thinking and said the first thing on your mind and didn't realize that all of a sudden you became the world's sauciest and spiciest comedian. And sometimes I deliver those kind of slow burns. And I can't help it. 'Tis life. 'Tis life. We're gonna keep acrobatics because it's more worth it. And after everyone left me alone and I had to do things on my own, I decided, well, I'm gonna take my lunch. Might as well start my first blind Let's Play of Octopath Traveler. Hell, why the fuck not? It's my thing, right? It's my thing. We're gonna discard doubt because we really don't need doubt. Strikey. I don't see anything I want to keep. I'm gonna keep dagger spray because this sucker likes to fucking split, and that's the sad part, is the fucker likes to fucking split, and it splitted like I said it would. Take that. I think I'm gonna just okay. I may not be doing this correctly, give or take. Probably not. Yeah, I think it was better off when I was drunk. Maybe that's something I should do a little more often. Fuck! And again, I apologize for background noises as I'm trying not to wake up my children, but also at the same time, they are with their father safe. Locked away in the room, dungeon and key, all intact. Clearly, I don't want to retain any slime. And can I just say that Slay the Spire has some interesting artwork for their cards. Hella interesting artwork for their cards. So, riddle with hole. So deal 4 damage 5 times, it's 20 for 2, only on one thing, which can be useful, because it's a plus. Bane, I never will take in any great circumstances, because it's entirely dependent on the status. Blade Dance, though? Yeah, fuck it. Okay, we got Blade Dance. So, now that we are on the same page here, what I want to do now is start talking about some other work stories. I have immense crazy work stories. I've worked at GameStop, I've worked at Starbucks in my lifetime, and most of my craziest stories actually come from GameStop, because you'd be surprised as what you can get into. And I was a seasonal hire at GameStop, and it was fucking insane. Like, I literally, it was my second day, and I was I 7 months? 6 months pregnant with my son, who is now 4, and refusing to go to bed. And my manager tells me, hey, I need you to go alphabetize stuff. And I'm like, sure, not a problem, because I want to prove myself, I want to do the right thing, I have enthusiasm, I have a love for games, whatever, this, that, and the third. Didn't know how to work the register at all, because she neglected to do that. She was more worried about keeping the store clean than training this poor little associate who, again, not little, definitely was 8 months pregnant. But I'm on my knees because it's easier to do that, to alphabetize the PS4 games. And here comes this guy that clearly is disheveled, didn't know what he was looking for. And I have an immense sales background, so I start asking him the usual questions, like, what are you looking for? What kind of games are you into? Game wasn't for him, it was for his son. Son was like maybe 16. Now, the GameStop I worked at wasn't in the best ideal location, and I wasn't used to working at these locations. So the dude looked sketchy as fuck. Don't prejudge, don't do any of that. So I'm like, okay. You clearly look like you just came off the corner and just did a fucking cocaine deal in front of my fucking store and had your kid in your fucking car. Fine. You need Madden. We get to a unanimous decision that this guy was looking for Madden. And this was around when Call of Duty World War I came out, or whatever. I'm so tired from work that I can't think coherently. Dude decides, yeah, sure, I want that, and also want that new Call of Duty game coming out. Not a problem. Manager decides to go into the back to deal with whatever crisis that there is, and this is again during the holiday. Not a problem. In my mind, not a problem. Realizing I don't know how to use a register. Somehow, within 30 minutes, I managed to sell this guy an Xbox One, Call of Duty, Madden, get him to upgrade a power-up, which was I hate it. I hate that system with a passion. I managed to do it, but I felt like it wasn't me selling, because I don't like high-pressure sales, and it was no pressure at all. And honestly, he was flirting with me, which was crazy. Get to the register, it's going to be like getting accessories, controllers, all this stuff. It's going to be like $800, right? So I look at the register, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to use this. So I call for my manager, who she was a total bitch, didn't care. And I knew she hired me, A, because she needed seasonal workers, and B, because she had her own secret agenda for probably making me a team lead. Ironic, because it was my second job, and I was an assistant manager at a different retail location for a different whole of a company, and she knew that. And I just needed extra money because I knew the first company I worked for was going out of business. So, short story short, calling for her, hey, can you come from the back? You know, I got this customer, he really wants to get this stuff, it's been a lot of money. All of a sudden, he just starts itching on top of my counter, right? He's itching like crazy on top of my counter. Like, you can see the dead skin cells coming off this guy's arm, right? Totally crazy. Can't make this up. He's scratching his head, hair flakes, skin flakes, all that nasty shit on my counter. 8 months pregnant, give or take. And I'm like, you alright, dude? Like, it's just gonna take a second for my manager to come out and authorize the transaction. I made up bullshit because I didn't know how to use the fucking register. What else can I do? Made that bullshit up enough to tell him, install him there, because I wanted that sale. I wanted credit for that sale. That was my main motivation, was to get the fucking credit for that sale. And finally, my manager comes out of nowhere, says, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot I didn't teach you the register." Says that with the most ratchet voice and ghetto tone you could ever fucking imagine in front of this dude who did not look like he had a lot of money, who was basically, in my mind, a drug dealer, and I wrote him off. But I try not to, because I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. He just looks at me like, "Yo, you living right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm living fine. I'm living fine." Shows me how to do the transaction on the register. Not that hard. Could have figured it out myself, but I just didn't want to mess up something that cost so much money, and I didn't want to shoot my credibility. So I'm like, "Yeah, after your transaction was like $700 some odd dollars." Didn't phase him. Hands me the card, swipes it, goes on out. Not a problem. Didn't think anything of it. So 2 days later, after Call of Duty had released, I want to think 2 or 3 days later, like 2 or 3 days later, a week later, he comes back. I'm like, shit, he's gonna return this shit. He's like, "I need to speak to the lady that sold me this game yesterday and her manager," and we were both working. So we're like, "Oh fuck, we're about to get rained down." I can see the look on her face. I know that look. I'm a seasoned manager at another retail location. I'm just a game and sales associate, so I could give a shit less if I get fired or some shit here, right? So I'm like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" He's like, "Hey, oh god, my kid loved that game. You gotta hook a brother up." And I'm like, "Sure, I can hook you up. Not a problem. What do you need?" He's like, "Yo, I'm trying to get into that new role-playing game action, and you guys know me, that's my first go-to. I love role-playing games. I can recommend anything to anybody off the water right then and there." So I just start listing off games I think would be nice. For some reason, I saw a Tales game, and I can't remember. Was it Tales of Vesperia? No, it was Tales of Berseria. Absolutely amazing. I just looked to my left. I saw that on the shelf, and I was like, "Okay, here's what you're gonna need." Never played an RPG before? Nah. I just want something cool that's hitting and bumping like Madden, because Madden had a story mode or something, a career mode, that made it easier for them, right? Cool, not a problem. I'm gonna take that sucker punch. So I explained to him what the game's like. He's like, yeah, my son's into that nerdy shit." I just look at him like, "Yo, ain't nothing nerdy about this." Like, I have to put that on, because I'm like, "Yo, there ain't nothing nerdy about this game." It's like, "Nah, I want you to stack up the counter with all these weird little nerdy type shit games." I will never forget that. So I'm doing it again. This time I know how to use the register. I'm wobbling like a penguin, because you know I'm pregnant, and I don't care less. He's still trying to hit on me low-key. Get to the register, he's like, I think it was like maybe $125. It wasn't that many games. And he had the pro power-up thing, so it got the discounts, whatever. We're chatting it up. And he's like, "Yo, I don't think you work here all the time. Like, you work somewhere else." And I hesitated, because I don't like really telling people that. And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Where you work at? I think I seen you somewhere else." I'm like, "I've worked at a tea store." So he's like, "Oh, you work at this and that and that tea store?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm assistant manager there." "Yo, my girlfriend really likes tea, but do you think tea and gaming go together?" Like, you would not imagine that this thuggish dude loved tea, loved video games. So I'm like, "Okay, tell you what. This is when I work at my other location. My other location was in another county." So I was like, he's not gonna come. He's not gonna come. So I tell him, "Yo, I'm gonna be at my other location at 10 a.m. I open. I kid you not, next day, go to my tea store, open it up, count my register, do all that stuff, unlock, make the teas, put the samples out. Same dude is sitting there on the bench waiting for me to open. I'm like, yo, this dude wasn't lying. Either he really wants the time or day, or he's just stupid, right? So I go through my sales process with him for the teas, no pressure whatsoever. He's like, "Yo, I like that Chinese, Japanese metal pot. Like, can you tell me about that thing?" I'm like, sure, not a problem. Tell him the meaning of a Japanese koi pot. Tell him the benefits of cast iron. Tell him the benefits of black tea. Tell him the benefits of all the different types of tea. He's like, yo, this is hitting. I'm about to get married with my wife. Okay, cool. Let's get you set up. So I'm a whole tea set. No other coworker. I didn't schedule anyone else to come in until about, was it noon or 1, something like that? Because I liked being by myself for a couple hours. Not because I didn't want to share the sales, but because it was dead. And it was cold out, so I know we weren't going to make that many sales. Also very pregnant and like to be by myself. So, I'm going to retain this card. So, it's taken an hour and a half, which is way longer than anything that I had done with that guy before in GameStop, right? Oh, no. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this story going, and I'm going to do one more run. Way longer. Way longer. Like, we're talking from when I opened at 10 till about 12:30. Just chatting it up about the game. And I'm like, yo, this is my business card for my store. It had my actual bad idea now in the grand scheme of thing. Had my phone number, had the email for corporate for my email address. My at blankblank.com, right? Not a problem. And this is the wonderful power of gaming and networking. He spent, jeez, I want to say he spent like $1,000 because he bought like 10 pounds of loose leaf tea, teapot, tray, kettle, everything I said sounded sweet. And remember, nothing sounds too good to be true. So, because I just took my time and I was patient and everything, I earned a customer for life from one place to another, so that way when things did eventually go south for GameStop, and I started to realize that the ship was sinking quickly as a seasonal sales associate, and also as a seasoned professional in, I'm gonna do next combat attack work, in seasoned management, because I've worked management most of my life, that it's time to jump ship. When I did jump ship from GameStop, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet with the money loss, from working GameStop, and just, tough it out with the other ship that is also sinking, that is the tea job. He would religiously come every week, and there was no way he was going through this tea that fast, right? There was just no plausible way he was going through this tea, but he did, and he would come and spend $125, and we're talking about a small little tea store that sales goal for the day probably was $700, and average he would spend $120, but some days I would make my day's goal in the morning just with him alone, because he would call me and ask, hey, are you working? I don't want to work with no one else. All my other sales associates, even the person that trained me, he wouldn't even work with the general manager there. He would only come to me. Not a problem. Until it became a problem. And the day that it became a problem was my CEO came. And this is about a month before the company goes down. CEO's watching me do my sales pitch, trying to figure out how this one location with maybe 4 employees, me as an assistant manager, store manager, and 2 sales associates, but I made them both key leads because my general manager was leaving. And I was pregnant and I didn't want to close and open all the time. How this store with literally just 4 people knocking it out the water all the time consistently. Because we're all friends, we're all doing what we're supposed to do in the tea store. Might bend a little rule here and there. Maybe at GameStop did not bend any rules. I don't think I did. Did I? No, didn't bend any rules in GameStop. But bend in a little rule so we can make the customer happy. And he's watching me sell to this guy. He's trying to figure out, like, how is she doing this? And he was prejudging this guy too, because he looked stereotypical. And even though you're a stereotype, textbook definition of stereotype, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm black too. He couldn't say anything once that dude flashed his heavy black card. If you've worked retail and you've seen that heavy black card, you already know that person has money. Credit score's impeccable. Whether you smelled or reeked of weed is irrelevant. My CEO was just trying to sell him everything in the store, and he was like, "Yo, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know you." He literally stepped to my CEO in his big, heavy, suit. My CEO, looking like a penguin, literally a version of Batman's penguin, and is like, "Yo, I just told you I don't want to talk to no one else but her." Ooh, backstab. I'm gonna take that, which is basically what this is about. Um, and he's just taken aback, like, "Oh shit, I can't steal this customer for her," because what he was trying to do is steal the sale from me, so that when he would go to the register, instead of scanning my name so that I get credit for the sales and get commission, he would have, even though he's CEO and he makes a better salary. And that carried over to GameStop, because then I got off from that job that day, and I still remember that one too. Got off after my CEO basically got told to go fuck himself by a customer, to go to my other second job at GameStop, for him to show up later on just to chat it up with me. And he was like, "Yo, your CEO's a dick. If you ever need to get into business with some, you know who to call." And he hands me his business card. Not a problem. Not a problem. My general manager at the GameStop is watching again this whole transaction, and she is just taken aback by all this shit. She's just like, "I don't understand how you're just an assistant manager somewhere else and that you don't want to put your whole full effort into everything. And I need you to push more pros memberships. I need you to put on more GPP. God, I can't even think straight because I'm so fucking tired. More, basically insurance for your games." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, not a problem. You're pushing me, I'm a little because I was pregnant. I'm gonna destroy it." And she was trying to make me push more insurances on this guy, and I was like, "I really don't want to do that because he's such a cool dude." Like, I was cool with it. Even told my spouse about it. He was cool with it. He kind of looked at it like iffy, because it was like, he's cool, but I'm your husband, so what's up? So yeah, that's where we were with that one. And so she's watching me, and I'm like, great, I'm at the second job going through the same thing I went through with this dude again at the first job. Don't know if he low-key was stalker or not, in the grand scheme of things, but so be it. So I'm like, fine, fuck it, I gotta push him. So I'm pushing harder and harder to get him insurances on all these games that I know he doesn't need, because his son he got the money. And he doesn't care about if he has to come back and rebuy the same game. He doesn't care about insurances. He cares about having a good conversation about all these role-playing games I recommended to him. Madden, which I honestly could give two shits about, and how I was trying to get him to, like, get into Destiny. And at the time, it was Destiny 2. And I hadn't really played it like that yet. So I'm pushing him. He's like, "Yo, everything all right?" And I'm trying to, like, non-verbally, like, look at him through the corner of my eye, like, "Hey, I'm being watched. Chill it out. Like, we just went through this earlier." He did not pick up those signals. He did not pick up the signals, in the grand scheme of things, may have led to my own personal demise. So he, at some point, I guess he realizes the non-verbal cues and is like, "You know what? Fine, let me get, like, a basically $20 worth of CD game insurance that I don't fucking need." And I felt so bad. So I messaged him on his email, professional, of course, and I was like, this is the situation. I'm sorry about it. This is how everything's going." And he's like, "Dude, you're good, but you should really tell your manager to go fuck herself." Like, some of the coolest people have came through a GameStop. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Okay, so now I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, that guy is still cool to this day. So I have him on Facebook, cool and everything. And again, you'd be surprised at all the wonderful people and not wonderful people you will see working retail. And this is just reflecting on things that I've went through, not in my current position. Give me one sec, guys. Alright. Yeah. Kids and stuff, you know. I have a plethora. I don't know why that word popped up for me right now. I literally have a plethora of gaming, not gaming, GameStop horror stories. And there's tons of YouTubers that talk about all of their horrendous GameStop stories. I'm so serious about mine though. And it was worse for me because I was pregnant. And I was like, yo, I don't even low-key want to be here. And you want to talk crazy? Like, that literally was my thing. I'm gonna draw too close. No, I don't want that one. I just was at that point. At that point when that had happened, that I was already mentally checked out from GameStop. Woo! Upgrades. So, I feel like another retail story so that my title of my live stream makes sense. Daddy, do you want some sausage? I worked in a restaurant when I was 19. And the funny thing is, I was a hostess. And anyone who's ever worked in a restaurant will tell you that that doesn't mean shit. So, I'm just laughing because what's so bad? I was really shy, not as much as I am now. And it was I want to say it wasn't it was borderline fine dining and casual in a very affluent area where I lived at the time. And they sold seafood. And the seafood was alright. I'm not really into it myself, but it was alright, you know. So this woman came in. I'm like shuddering thinking about it. Like, this woman came in. She had to have been like my age, what I am now, like 30. And I didn't pay attention, and that probably was a bad idea. I'm not so long out of high school. I'm a little awkward, more so than now. People pleaser, not as much as I am now. And I'm like, hi, how are you doing? Welcome to the grill. How can I help you? You know, if you give us a few minutes, you know, I will seat you and get you seated. I was figuring out how to use Table Ready or whatever the hell the app was at the time. And I figured it out. I have a bad track record of bosses not letting me know how to use things. So I figure, hell with it. I'm gonna just seat her. I seat her with the best, you know, server that I knew at the time, who was one of my friends. He was cool, real cool. He was like, cool, just sit him with me, not a problem, I'm patient with you. My friend had a family emergency. I think something had happened with his father or mother. And I'm like, go, dude, go. I didn't even consult anyone. I just said go. And who am I to say go somewhere, right? Guy goes, takes care of his business, puts his apron down, whatever. He's like, you're gonna have to be a server. You're gonna have to take her order. This is how you do it. This is how you... He just quickly runs me down on how to do everything. Bad, right? Terrible. And my attention span at 19 was not the best. So I take her order. She was taken aback at first, and I was at the front of house, and now all of a sudden I'm her server. And she's giving me that look like, are you sure you can handle this? Like, I think you need to go stay in your lane type of look. So I stay in my lane, sort of. So I play it defensive. I'm like, okay, here's our menu, you know, can I get you started with the water or something? I faked it. Faked until I made it with the restaurant, right? Superb customer service, everything that works. The owner wasn't there yet. The owner would have come in 2 days later, which was a Sunday or Saturday or some shit. It was a weekday. We weren't really busy. Not a problem. So, take her order. She's like, I have been waiting like 15, 20 minutes, and no one other than you has approached me. And I find it kind of messed up that you were the hostess and now you're my server. I'm like, I do apologize. There was a family situation, ma'am, and we got to deal with it, and I'm sorry. Like, I was 19, I was just apologizing all over the place. Word vomit. Blah, right? She wasn't having none of it. I need to see or talk to a manager. So, front of house manager, or whatever the hell she was, I can't remember. Her name was Vanessa or something. I tell her what's going on. She's like, I got it. Don't worry. Go back to the front of house. I'll take care of her. Now, at the time, and because of my voice, she couldn't quite tell whether I was female or not. And I am. Very much straight as well, by the way. She couldn't tell. So she was like, that guy doesn't understand that I would like some sausages. And I'm like, I'll get the sausages. Calm down. You really need sausages that much? Everything alright at home? Like, in my mind. And I'm pretty sure everything was fine at home. You know, I'm very positive that everything was fine. So Vanessa takes care of her, cashes her out. She just wanted to get obliterated, and it was not even nighttime. I think it was like 4 p.m. She wanted to get shit-faced. And again, 19, cannot serve alcohol. She didn't give a flying fuck that I couldn't serve alcohol. She was like, I need my margarita now. Bartender took care of it, because bartender already knew that I was like 19. Like, also didn't drink yet at the time. So they were more than understanding. Like, hell no. She didn't give a fuck. She wanted her margarita now. And she just kept screaming and hollering at the top of her voice, I need my sausages. And we did have a sausage dish served with some kind of weird exotic fish. So I'm getting a little ticked off. And I'm 19, so at the time, so I'm gonna say something stupid. I feel like anybody's gonna say something stupid when you're 19 and someone's ticking you off. So I'm like, Daddy, do you want some sausages? Daddy, do you want... I'm taunting her, and she can't hear me. And I didn't give a shit if she taunted me anyway, because I was getting, like, bullshit paid for a hostess. And I just selected this card. I was getting bullshit paid for being a hostess. So she decides, again, she wants to talk to Vanessa. Not a problem. Here's Vanessa for her. Vanessa's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm chill. I'm chilling. She just keeps yelling and screaming. I'm trying to help our friend that was a server that left earlier, because you guys are understaffed as shit, and you want me to work like 3 or 4 different fucking paid titles for like basically $7.25 an hour, and I'm in college and shit. Fuck her. So, you know, at some point she gets really shit-faced and stays in the restaurant from basically what is 4 until 10. 4 till 10. Ordering as many sausages as she wants to get stick in her lovely little mouth. And I'm eating it all up and laughing at her. And then, you know, she comes time to close her bill out. Vanessa closes her bill out. Sure, I can't remember. I think Shuri spent like a whole bunch of money, because she was literally there from 4 to like 9 or 10. Tips Vanessa, tips the other dude behind the bar. On her way out, walks past me because the hostess stands towards the entrance. Looks at me, stares me up and down. You should have been more nice to me, man. Sweetheart, calm down. If you want me to drink with you, I can't, because I'm 19. Don't think my grandparents would like that, because also I was still shy. And then that was one time I had found my voice at the time. And sweetie, I like to drink. with people who are actually my friends. So she stares at my blouse. She finally stares at my blouse, which I'm finally realizing that she had came in obliterated to begin with. Oh, I'm so sorry. You have such a nice rack. Don't touch me. No, don't touch me. And she decides she wants to touch me. And, you know, it's time for her to leave, Vanessa. Vanessa gets her to leave. She's like, I'm so sorry. It's good that you said no and defended your personal space. Dude, I was about to defend my personal space. I was gonna defend her with my knife in my pocket to find her fucking personal space. Entitled bitches. But that's not the end of it. You know, towards my end of my shift, not my shift, but towards the end of my brief stint in that restaurant, because there was other issues, she was a regular. I came to find that out later. Of course, for me being in the wrong because she's a regular. She came in and shit face again. I could smell the alcohol, and all she would scream every time is, "I would like some sausages," and whatever the hell this dish with the fish was called. And I'm like, yo, shorty's not getting enough sausages at all. I just said it between. It was an inside joke between me and the other people in the back of the house as well, which was really cool pitch and stab. But it wasn't gonna work out for me. That job. Another retail story. I'm trying to think of a retail story. Another one. Well, that wasn't even a retail story. It was more of a restaurant horror story, but I feel like everyone listens to some bullshit if they work in a restaurant. It's not a horror story. How about a good story? And no GameStop story today. No GameStop, because I was at GameStop for a minute. Tivana. So, I worked there for 6+ years as a teenager. And well into my adulthood. And I worked at one of the malls nearby my home. Affluent mall, not too far from the affluent restaurant that I ended up working part-time at. Also working part-time there because I was a college student, broke and hungry, and wanted money. So I got promoted within 3-4 months. And this is a tea store, different from the tea company I mentioned in my earlier story. And I am still friends with all the management there. So I come in, it's afternoon shift, I work 2 to 10 or something like that, because I always prefer closing, always be closing anyway. That's a retail rule. And this lady comes in, old lady, really old, couldn't think nothing of it. She looked affluent as hell like any other regular person would that comes through there. And I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I can make some sales, because they had this situation where they had stations, and my stations was at the counter to weigh out tea, and that's where most of your bulk sales would come from for the day. And you also had sales goals just like previous other retail job, right? Cool, not a problem. So to capitulate, saw her come in. Then I saw these bulky, big dudes come in behind her. Like in jackets, like black suits. Didn't think nothing of it. Maybe thought that they were like family members or something. Okay, they approach the counter. The dudes are surveying the area. Didn't think much of it. It's my counter time. I'm gonna make like, I already had it in my mind today. That whoever this lady is, I'm gonna amaze her with my bubbly personality and well-spoken demeanor. I talked to her. She has a very European accent. Didn't think much of it. Right? Never do. And I can't make this up. I really can't make this up. And I have proof. I was like, oh yeah, telling her about the different teas. She asked me about different teas with hard spices. So I interpret that as, oh, you want something spicy like chai. Or showing it to her. And then all of a sudden, she reaches her hand over the counter, touches my hand gently. And I love the elderly. So I'm like, what is it, my dear? She's like, where are you from? What is your name? I tell her my name. Are you from Spain or another Latin American country? And I'm like, no. I'm from here. I'm from here. Not a problem. And she's like, do you know Spanish? And I'm like, yeah. I was the only one working that knew Spanish at the time, which was fine. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, so I was the only one working at the time that knew Spanish, because everyone else at the counter did. There wasn't a problem, right? No problem at all. And I think I'm just gonna do this one story, because I'm not really paying attention to the play, and I'm more paying attention to the story than I am like what I'm actually doing. So back to the story. Tell her what my name is. Tell her I was here, born and raised in the area that I was in. She does not believe me. Asked me if I speak Spanish. I said yes. So we continued the conversation in Spanish. I learned Spanish in high school, and I was continuing it in college at this point. So I noticed that she had a very distinct accent. Her accent was similar to mine in Spanish, like Spanish spoken in Spain. So I'm like, cool, not bad. Maybe she's just a wealthy, Spanish woman, because she was from Spain. And I asked her in Spanish, were you from Spain? She said yes. So she's like, also, can you show me some teapots? I couldn't technically leave my station, so I asked my manager at the time, and he was swamped with someone else. He just nodded like, yeah, go do whatever. So I take her over. I ignore zoning rules or whatever the hell you call them at the time. Take her over, show her like 3 or 4 different, what were they? They were different kind of, electronic kettles. She's enamored with him. She doesn't even, yes, just bag it, just bag it, just bag it, just bag it. At this point, this was already a long transaction. I had already shoveled out maybe 20 pounds of tea with the tins, and we had a surcharge for the tins, but, I wasn't going to charge her for it, but I ended up doing it anyway, because I was being watched by my manager who paid attention all of a sudden at the last second. And, we're going to do that. Ooh, runic pyramid, any day. Okay. I'm not paying attention, and somehow I'm thriving in this gameplay right now. So she's just going for whatever. Sell her like 8 or 9 different tea sets. Half of them cast iron, some of them are bone china, some of them are yixing, which are clay Chinese pots. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me in the description or in the chat if you know. But I sell her all these things. Then she wants some glass teapots and blooming teas, and like it amounts to a big amount of money, crazy amount of money. It was like almost $2,000. She shows me a tax exempt card, normal procedure, do the thing, taxes wasn't too bad because tea was considered a food product. So my other coworker, and may she rest in peace because she's no longer with us anymore. She's like, Dora, I know who that was after she had left. I'm like, oh, who was she? Oh, you just serve the European laws, like, stop lying. You know what I mean? Like, stop it. Don't tease me, right? Don't tease me. So the other team lead that was with me, he's like, Dora, I'm gonna Google the Queen of Spain, and you're gonna see the same person that you just cash handled. I'm like, no bullshit. He goes to Google, Google's the current Queen of Spain, pulls up her Wikipedia page, kid you not, was the same goddamn woman there. I was like, so what the hell was she doing here? So he's like, maybe there's a convention or something. Something was going on, some convention. Those 2 burly guys were her bodyguard. I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, innocent beaver, right? Dude, I literally had a conniption. It was such a big deal that my store manager, who is still my friend to this day, took a picture of that receipt, taped it to the wall. We made our sales go for the day. And it was minimal effort for me. It literally was. I was just being my personal little bubbly self like I am right now. 0 effort. 0. And, let me put that there. 0 effort. But I do remember towards the end of the transaction, after I was helping her slide her car, she was like, you must visit my country one time. I do remember that. And I thought nothing of it. I just thought she was just a really nice old lady, you know? And I was like, sure, yeah, of course. And she's like, just practice your Spanish, but you sound like you're just from my country. And I'm like, what the hell? And I told my husband that story, and he was like, I don't believe you. So I had my friend who worked with me at that tea store show my husband. I'm like, can you show him that receipt? He's like, sure, not a problem. I still have it on my phone. Yeah, iPhone. He saved it and favored it. It's his greatest talking point ever, right? So he shows it to my husband. He's like, oh god damn it, you really did. My husband is Hispanic, and he's like, well, you know, it is a small world we live in. And I'm like, yeah, it is a small world we live in. And it freaks me the fuck out. It freaks me the fuck out. So that was a good ending, but it's something that you won't forget, and I can't make that up. I generally strive in myself being honest and transparent as possible, even when I'm selling, even now that I work in the educational system, and even now as in the educational system as essential, infrastructural, essential, important, whatever you want to call it. Because I like being honest, and it's opened doors for me that otherwise would have remained closed by not being honest. And I feel like it's a rare thing, and not trying to pat myself too much on the back, but I feel like it's a rare thing in general. I don't know. Let me calculate a gamble. Calculate a gamble to get another calculated gamble. But yeah, that's ironic because that's what I do with customer service. It's always a calculated gamble. It always is. So I'm happy with it, you know. But another wonderful story. You know, again, I literally have been up since 4 a.m., so my brain might have stopped working at some point of time here, unfortunately. I don't know why, but it might have stopped. Yeah, I think it did. I can't think of any more stories, but I always want to keep some of my best stories for some of my other live streams, especially GameStop ones, because they're exhaustively wild. Like, I'm serious, exhaustively wild. I have seen people dumpster dive hoping to get, like, oh, I'm just here hoping to get the most expensive PS4, Xbox One game, or a PS3 game that you're hoping to throw out because I want to flip it and make a quick buck and change my improvement of my life. Like, dude, no, you cannot do that. Now, there are YouTubers that do it. Now, before, when I was at GameStop at the time, there was policy to make sure things were shredded, ripped, broken in half, bleached. I never did the bleach thing because I found that inhumane. I did, unfortunately, have no choice but to destroy things like that, but no gracias. I'm not being responsible. I can't live with myself with the idea that I know that people dumpster dive and that they can really hurt themselves. I literally don't want to have that on my mind, you know? I don't want to escape from violence because I feel like I'm gonna make it through here. I just find it inhumane. And I also worked at, like, I don't know where some of you guys are watching from, but I've also worked at Five Below. And they have the same kind of weird policy. The only place I ever worked that didn't have this weird policy of, like, basically poisoning people for things that are spoiled and thrown out and ripped was, Sam's Club, because they have their own contractor in that. Walmart, but I never worked officially for Walmart, so I guess, does that count? Probably not. Deflect, neutralize. Do I want to defend? I think I might want to put this one. Yeah. Please don't be a boss. I can upgrade upgrade all my strikes and defense. Hell no, I'm just gonna remove it. So, I'm gonna remove... Why do I have two calculating gambits? I mean, that's fine. I'll just wait for you to defend. Okay, let's heal here. I feel like tonight's just me reminiscing about the most fucked up and perfectly great times I ever had working, but yeah. I find it increasingly disturbing that retailers in general, instead of donating and or, you know, repurposing things, that they rather poison people. I couldn't find it in myself to do that. I just really couldn't. And I don't know if that's a reflection of me as a whole, but I just couldn't. I just fucking couldn't. That's terrible, man. How the hell, how in the fuck do you expect to just basically poison somebody? Like, the fuck? Sometimes I don't have that many terrible stories with, but, like, I don't know. It all depends on your perspective of things. It truly does. I have an optimistic perspective to most things, and I'm also kind of kooky, crazy, and unique, and have my own special definition of people, I guess, as a whole. Sorry, guys. Because most people, I don't think all people are inherently evil. I just think corporations can be a tad bit on the Sephiroth side of things. I'm just saying. I'm just being transparent as much as I possibly can fucking be. If that's what I think. Please let me survive. I don't think I'm going to survive this. Well, I got a lot of fucking 0 cards. I'd survive this shit. 5 is just fucking crazy. I was an assistant manager there. I didn't start as a sales associate. I started as assistant manager at Five Below. And Five Below is basically what you would take at the time. It's different now. Five Below is basically the demented, twisted sister of the Dollar Tree, or Dollar General, or Family Dollar, where everything in the store is either $5 or below. I think now it's a little different, but at the time that was the premise. And my store employed young people, and I was young still. I still am young. So that was quite a problem. And for some reason, this corporation didn't think that this one location didn't need cameras. And I'm just like, really? So loss prevention isn't important to you. So you really just want to just not have cameras and pray for the best. So I'm gonna act as your in-house security / visual store manager. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not losing my life on these fucked up kids. So, to make the story short, one day we had to do inventory, and if you've ever taken inventory for a store like Walmart or GameStop, Five Below is worse. And the amount of theft in dollars was so ridiculous that it took us not only 1 day, but 2 days overall with an inventory company to help us calculate all fucking shit. So, I got pissed off, naturally, because I wanted to go home, and I had my daughter, who was little at the time, and I was like, yo, you guys are wildin'. This is not the shit I want to do. And you know what was sick? My sister worked downstairs in this shopping center, and she worked at Dollar Tree. And she's like, does your back room look like shit? And I'm like, fuck yeah, you want to take a tour of it? She's like, no, I'm good. I'm living my best life, and going inside the back room of Five Below ain't part of it. And I'm like, fuck you. Living your best life? What about my best life? Your best life is micromanaging teenagers who don't give a fuck about you. Thanks, sis. Thanks, sis. Oh, yay, random upgrade. I don't want to take my chances with any other bosses. Hopefully I can get through Act 3. Because once if I die, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna get noxious fumes. Whenever you rest, I can add a card into my deck. Fuck. No. I'm not gonna add any more calculated gambles. Because then it just becomes a really weird curse. We're proceeding. Yeah. And she's like, "Do you want to work at Dollar Tree?" I'm like, "Fuck no." Because I swear, like, I had this weird tendency to work at locations that basically look like crackheads whenever they're out of it. I don't know if that's sad, or something to be proud of, or what. I just can drink one more. So hopefully this doesn't hurt. You get good shit to, like, survive. There you go, you're weakened. Then do this. Strike this sucker. Acrobatics. Fuck. Survivor I'm gonna keep. I gotta get rid of one. Fuck it, all out attack. That would be the last one. But yeah, now it's time, instead of all of the wonderful retail stores, to focus on me not paying attention and paying the consequences for it. There we go. Too many retail stores though. Real talk, way too many. Way too many. And way too many core stores, eyes and mothers, that I just will spare you all of. Hey, I'm doing a pretty good run, solid run right now. Given that I was running my mouth, not paying attention to what cards I'm drawing, and also probably either A, will survive this, or B, will not, I am thoroughly impressed with myself and my ability to do things at this moment. And also the fact that my kid has finally fallen asleep and I don't feel like a failure of a mother. That's great. But it's all good. I just footwork, we're getting that. Fuck. So with this one, dramatic entrance helps, all out attack helps, backstab helps, deflect helps, defend helps. Like, I'm just cycling at this rate. We'll throw this in there. Fuck him. Get him, boy. He ain't getting shit. You're gonna get poisoned. And I'm gonna fuck your day up. Strike it plus. Calculate gamble. Shit. Cycle. I'm actually getting extremely tired because I have to work tomorrow at like fucking 6 in the morning, so I'm trying to get this done and completed with. Wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? All out attack, man. Fuck. Okay. Yes. I didn't need to do that. Strike. Everybody's dead. Flex. I don't know how I ended up in square one at this point. Like, I truly don't. I really don't know how I ended up in square one. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna just change these all on the shits. Probably wasn't the best idea. We need to do that shit with all the poison. Okay. Adios. Adios. Dexterity. Defend. It's not gonna gamble. Please be good. So only mildly hurt. Not all the way hurt. I have to deal with the hand that has literally been given to me. I'm gonna have to draw all these hands. And this is why I love having my Switch being this way, because I can record anywhere in the house, roughly, and be fine. What in the fuck? I keep spamming these motherfuckers. God damn it. Lord forgive me. Forgive them because they ain't about to make it. So like every time I attack it, its strength increases. Like, oh no. Okay, defend. This is probably gonna hurt. Nope. No, they ran away. They ran away. I lived. Fuck. I want to just cycle through shit. I already have noxious fumes, but 2 of them shouldn't hurt. I should be able to survive this one. I would be surprised if I do not survive this one. Let's do blade damage twice. Okay. This guy is coming down. Now, I don't kind of... I'm gonna just take a calculated gamble and bring a defense card. Yeah, I don't know. I'm paid for me not paying attention. I'm paid for me not paying attention, people. That's the thing. I am reaping what I have sowed indefinitely. Now I'm paying attention, and now I think I'm doing terribly, so it's probably best if I just talk about something so that I don't do terrible. Noxious fumes. Slice. Survive. Gain 11 blocks. Confirm. I should live through this. I should. We go do this because that's what I ain't gonna live and take it with me. I didn't live. Well, guys, I'm gonna end my stream here. It's getting late. I have to work. And be somewhat coherent enough to make sure that nothing falls on my foot, breaks it, and or keep up my witty comebacks from my coworkers as they love me internally and keep you guys entertained as well. So before I end the stream, as always, you guys know you can like, comment, share, subscribe. Keep a lookout on the Twitter. Keep a lookout on the Facebook page for when I'm going to upload something. Keep a look on the YouTube channel page to know when I schedule to go live, because I generally schedule to go live on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. And because I had to reschedule for Sunday, that's why I'm on now. Sometimes I randomly decide to go up there. Most of the time I do a Slay the Spire run, maybe a Civ 6 run, whatever I feel like running. And then, you know, the regular, normal programming of uploading my Let's Play Blind series of Octopath Traveler. Because I'm going to try and get through at least 6 strategy RPGs through the year. That's the game plan, guys. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm laying down. And as always, you know, like I said before, you leave comments, I respond, I engage with you, and we can share and talk about all these wonderful gaming stories, because like I said, I got tons and tons of gaming stories, tons and tons of GameStop stories, tons and tons of management, retail, horror stories, parenting stories, whatever you can think of, I got that. So with that, guys, I'm going to end this live stream. Remember, always really play games. And I hope you guys are having a good night or good morning.